Cameroonians. And of course, plus, we look at the 2025 presidential elections, the different aspirants animating the social media as well as the traditional media. What are their personality traits? Are they living up to expectations as those who want to be the #1 citizen of the country comes September? This is a package we shall be discussing today on 360 Degrees. We are beaming live from Yaoundé. Thanks for joining us. Good afternoon. You're welcome back. Like I said, today we are talking the Social Democratic Front. This week, they commemorated their 35th anniversary as the first major opposition party in Cameroon that paved the way for multipartyism in the 90s. And we have some gentlemen in the studio that will be helping us to understand what the SDF has been doing for the past 85 years. What is the image of the SDF as we speak? I will begin with no particular order. I'll begin from my right, where I have Franklin Wanching. Franklin is a political analyst, and we are thanking him for accepting to come to be with us today.
A special weekend to all the Cameroonians.
Of course, we cannot talk SDF without SDF on set, and that is why we are fortunate to have Lionel Kongaba. He's been here several times. He's here again to talk what concerns them and what concerns Cameroon. Lionel, you're welcome.
Thank you, Hyson. Good afternoon, sympathizers of the Social Democratic Front. Good afternoon to all Cameroonians and well-wishers who have been fighting alongside the Social Democratic Front for 35 years in order to give Cameroon a way forward in our development. And also say that 35 years, when you born a child, when the child is born and he's 35, the child is matured.
Of course.
And being matured means that he leaves at times the parents' house and become autonomous. The Social Democratic Front, we know many which are 50, 60 are still at the parents' house, especially in the context, in our economic context that does not permit that people should integrate easily. So I think that the Social Democratic Front is a grown-up child, and we are showing about the actions and things that have been done and the achievement, and not only the achievement, but also to talk about the challenges that we had during these 35 years. And I want to use this opportunity to bow down to the memory of the 6 people who lost their life during the launch of the Social Democratic Front on the 26th of May 1990 in Bamenda at Liberty Square, and also our forefathers at the head, our founding fathers with at the head, may his soul rest in peace, Nijon Fundi, who braved all odds to launch the party and make sure that we are here today to talk about this history.
Thank you so much, Lionel. I have 2 journalists on set. I have Kabiru Yusufa. Kabiru Yusufa is a journalist, like I said, and he doubles as the publisher of Lestrade newspaper. Kabiru, you're welcome.
Thank you very much, Hyson. Good afternoon to you. Good afternoon to my co-panelists. Good afternoon to all the televiewers of Canal 2. And I must say it's a privilege to be part of this wonderful panel. We have fine brains here, and I hope the discussion that we are going to have is going to be helpful and it's going to contribute to the nation building, particularly this year, because it's a crucial year, as we all know.
Our 4th panelist of the day is Do Bertrand. Do Bertrand is a journalist, and he is the managing editor of the daily newspaper, The Guardian Post.
Hi, Sin. Good afternoon to all panelists and to your millions of viewers out there. Thank you for inviting me once more.
Before we get to the SDF, we'll take some time to talk about the different aspirants of the presidential elections. I'll begin with Do Bertrand. You are a managing editor. What is your relationship like? What is the atmosphere that reigns maybe between you as journalists?
Say we have aspirants in different categories. Remember, like you said, they are just aspirants. I remember that last week, the Guardian Post did a compilation. It was a catalog of those who are already, eyeing to the palace. And we have so far close to 30 Cameroonians who have come out in their individual capacities, some under political parties, to indicate that they are vying for the post of head of state in October. And we catalog them. At this moment, it is not a question of who is qualified and who is not. But to talk about those who have really come out under political parties, like we have the chairman of the SDF, Honorable Joshua, we have the MRC National President Kamto, we have Cameroon that has been backed by several political parties and other movements in the country and other key figures. The relationship, there is no particular relationship. We follow the activities at the moment. We follow their political activities, follow the vision they have for the country, what they're preaching, what they're promising for Cameroonians, and other things that they are saying, which seem of kind of expose the loopholes of the regime that is in place. So what we do at the moment is report their political activities because elections have not been convened, though we know that the electoral period is going to be around October. But by the time the polls have been convened by the head of state, that is when real business begins. But at this moment, it is about reporting what they are doing, moves that they are taking in order to, give Cameroonians some hope that they can, flush out the regime that is in place.
Kabiru, I want us to maybe look at, we shall have enough time to talk about the different political programs. We've started talking, and then we shall still have more time. But now I want us to maybe focus on the character traits of some of these aspirants.
Yeah, I think this is something that is very important because every politician has what we call a personality, and which plays a great role in decision making, because elections is all about making a choice, and one of the criteria on which the voters are relying on or are depending on to choose the right candidate to represent them is the character trait. But unfortunately, what we observe as journalists is that some of these candidates, some of those candidates actually portraying some character traits that do not actually inspire truth, that do not inspire confidence, and that actually questions their ability to last week on a TV panel with a presidential aspirant who threatened to leave, and he left the studio simply because one of the questions that was directed to him did not actually please him. So you see, this is, it puts a journalist on an embarrassing situation, because it is not easy to deal with such kind of individuals. And thankfully, Cameroonians are following closely such kind of debates, and I think when the time comes, they will know who to choose and who to leave out.
This is something that concerns the media. Obviously, you did not ask me the question directly, but I also feel comfortable talking about it because, because if there is media solidarity, I want to start by us, those who are also in the call. If there is solidarity within the media family, I don't think anybody should invite the set official we're talking about, Professor Bayebek, on a television platform or for any media program. He is first of all supposed to apologize to the journalist in question, journalist of my media prime, which is Lasha Kingsley, apologize to the media house, and also apologize to viewers, and then apologize even to Cameroonians as a whole. The entire media family, because an insult on one journalist and an insult on the entire call. So I think I would begin by saying that those who are anchoring TV debate programs where he is a regular participant or panelist should show some solidarity. Those who are, wholesome on a television platform, and when you are asked a question, there should be no taboo question for somebody who is vying for the post of head of state of this country. Because if you start demonstrating such, it means there is going to be no transparency in your leadership if you are mistakenly voted as head of state. If you, at this moment, you cannot answer a simple question. Finally, it's something that is coming from different fronts. I understand where it's coming from. If there was respect of rule of law in this country, that question would not have even come up from the journalists. It was not a bad question. It was a question
for clarity.
But if they, for clarity, and that's what I'm saying, that if the admissions of the factions within that political party, just like we have it in other political parties. So this is a problem that is caused by non-respect of decisions passed by our judiciary that is now falling on journalists because they want to ask clear questions for Cameroonians to know who is who as far as the race is concerned. But remember, he is just an aspirant, and it's only a LECAM that will decide which list is going to be retained, and then this is going to be confirmed by the Constitutional Council.
Of course. Lionel, should there be, like he was saying, should there be a taboo question for somebody who thinks that, who is trying to maybe cajole Cameroonians to vote for him or her in 2025 as the president of this republic?
For 35 years, the Social Democratic Front has been fighting for freedom of speech, and I think one of the corporations that has to make this happen or make it be real is the corporation of journalists. And if journalists are prevented from asking pertinent questions, because I want to first of all say, admire that young man from My Media Prime, which I think was doing his job, and the question that he asked was even for the benefit of the candidate that was sitting on that panel position. He ought to take his time, explain to Cameroonians, because he had a program with 2 journalists and he had enough time in order to explain. They cannot ask you a question as a journalist. You are a presidential candidate and you return back the question to the journalist and you tell the journalist that he's a fool and he's an idiot. He knows nothing.
Somebody hosting a program.
Particular candidate has been doing on TV sets and programs. We remember once which he called another fellow on the set, you are a manjiang, because they had different opinions, and that's what we don't think. We think freedom of speech is other political parties, and what we do is to make sure that we put our point of view at the end so that our listeners and the viewers can comprehend what we are proposing and what we are not okay for with the regime in place. And the other thing you have to understand is that the coup regime of Mr. Biya for 34 years have made everything for Cameroonians to look at that post as nothing. We are talking here of the most prestigious post in this country. Yeah. Being a president is not for anyone. It's not because you hold a PhD or because you're a professor that you think that you can stand up and tell people you want to be a president. Hyson, when we talk of people declaring their candidacy, we are seeing about 30, as Mr. Doe from the Guardian Post said.
Yes.
I'm very surprised. If we talk of this, if they give you the list of these 30, you will know at least or highest 7 of these candidates. Others come from nowhere. Yeah. Some don't even have programs. Some are people who sit every Sunday on TV platforms to discuss, insult, and say the opposition are not doing anything. But we are not seeing the activities they are doing. You cannot vow for the presidential position, whereas you have not been showing Cameroonians what you are capable to do at your basic level. There are things that you have to show Cameroonians. Yeah. Go and even stand as a councillor, municipal councillor. In one of the constituencies in Cameroon, we have 360. Those people will not tell us that they are unable to stand, that they want just to come out and go and be presidential candidate. That's why I like Cameroonian journalists. Most of the journalists are and writing papers that they think they are more popular, or they are even popular, or they are even known. It's not because you mobilize 3 written newspapers, 2 TVs, and start talking garbages that you think people will understand. It's not because you are insulting Mr. Biya that you think you have the sympathy of people. We are talking of the most prestigious position. And when you are coming for that position, you need to have a program. You need to have a political program for the change of this country. If you say you want to change Cameroon and you are not proposing a program to Cameroonians, you look at that kind. If you can talk to a journalist that way on a panel and ask him to leave, and because he did not leave, and the journalist was very calm, I enjoyed that young man. I said, this is, you know, some of us, God gave us that culture.
Franklin? Yes.
I want to add to something what I've discovered with most of these our aspirants, especially those who are still coming in politics afresh. What I've discovered is that they don't know the difference between a leader and a boss.
Okay.
One thing we always say is a boss is he who passes commands out. He commands what to do. You don't do it the way he wants it, he sacks you. A leader will come back to you and ask you, what do you think if we could go like this? The leader will propose to you what to do. Bosses will step in. That's why you get people saying that if I become the president, I'll stop this, I'll stop this, I'll stop this. What will you do?
I am in line. Let him learn.
I'm in line with Leon here when he says that for the past years, the current regime has made the post of the presidency to look like a nothing. Because I always believe in me, when you look at successful politicians who have become presidents, you realize that this one was once a mayor, he was once a parliamentarian, he was once this, but you see people skipping from their bedrooms, they want to go straight to the Unity Palace. It's because the regime has made the Unity Palace look like a playground. And to me, I think whoever is coming in as from October should try to retrieve that dignity of the presidency, so that in our next election, we won't be having all this type of drama we're having right now.
Okay, let me give you the last mic, maybe before we move to...
I think I agree with what the brother from the SDF has said. The office in place has been made to look like it's some kind of... we are running for position of a school prefect. That is the highest office on the question. In as much as the media wants to give them the liberty, but I want to distance myself from what our brother said, like when media receives some few tips, I don't think we receive tips to write. We give them the liberty to talk. Yeah. But when you look at some of them, do they meet the criteria?
Ask yourself.
What platform are they going to? Those who are not even within political parties. How? Because of the way we have made the office to look like that, many people are making it to be kind of a comedy. When you even look at some people who, through television platform, because they have become, think that all of these 30 million people, we are nearing close to 30 million, we have 367 political parties and above. What explains that? And then you don't see any of these political parties on 5+. How many of them are represented at the local level, from the legislative, municipal, and then come to even... They are not there. Now, when we even want to look at those who are a little bit vibrant, what stops our political parties, let's just say within about 20, to rally behind someone if we have one vision? A vision to liberate the country from a regime that is placed for 43 years. Why can't we rally behind one leader and we liberate the country, and then we do kind of an inclusive leadership, and then we move from there? I think it's a call for opposition political parties.
The politicians are working on that.
It's a call for political parties.
Yes, just a few seconds before we move to...
Yes, I think this year is a crucial year, not only for political parties, but also for journalists. Yeah. And what we saw reflects... It's just a tip of the iceberg of what is going to see.
For Cameroonians more, not even journalists. So for Cameroonians, let people register and vote, and not the whole thing about voter parties should be a thing of the past. Yeah. Let us register and vote. And authorities should stop discouraging Elekan from doing it, to work with it. We remember political parties, I remember even an official of SDF, but Sandangota even made a proposal that Elekam should move to churches, organize registration during church, on church premises, and even organize special registration. But when authorities even start discouraging this, because they are afraid of the momentum that we have in the registration process. We have never had this momentum before. We have our 9 million plus Cameroonians who are registered. By August 31, when the register is going to be closed, we might be moving towards 12 million. And the regime is afraid.
We cannot go to August
this year.
Once the elections because the elections will even be called for that period.
Kabiru just tried to land, please.
Yes. What I wanted to say is that the National Communication Council should also take its responsibility, because when it is a journalist who does such kind of things, they are ready to hammer on the journalists. The next day, they issue a communique suspending the journalists, suspending the program, suspending even the media. But when the journalist is the victim, what happens?
The problem is if the NCC has a competence to sanction against... They don't. It's a media regulatory organ, and they cannot issue a statement sanctioning a panelist on the program. They can issue a statement when that panelist on your program says something that can trigger a riot in the country, and you, the journalist, you fail to call that person to order. But now, if I invite you to my program, you come and you beat me up.
There's the way.
I think what they say is that maybe those limitations...
There are limitations. That's why we're able to overhaul our legal system, and then we review.
They can include that. They can expand their mission. Because as it stands, their mission is to protect those who are hosted on TV debates. Right? But what about the journalists? We are vulnerable.
Okay.
Someone can come and insult us, and there is nothing, a total blackout.
The way the SDF can do this by saying this. If any panelists come,
it is not in their competence.
can do that.
We should be making a call to political party leaders. We should be making a call to political party leaders that journalists should be allowed to do their job. Stop intimidating, stop harassing, stop threatening journalists because they ask critical questions that are not favorable to you.
Thank you so much, Dobetran. Franklin, let's take this report. We come back and talk the Social Democratic Front at 35.
Significant challenges as it commemorates its 35th anniversary. The party's influence has worked over the years, leading to introspection and calls for rejuvenation. In a bid to reconnect with his base and chart a path forth, SDF chairman Joshua Osi was in the town of Magba, located in the Noon Division, for the anniversary celebrations. The event serves as a moment of reflection, camaraderie, and a renewed commitment among party members. Addressing attendees, Osi emphasized the need for transformation and justice in Cameroon. He highlighted the SDF commitment to ending ongoing conflicts in the Northwest, Southwest, and Far North regions through dialogue and concrete actions within the first 100 days of governance. Osi also presented plans for economic revival, focusing on industrialization, innovation, and sustainable development to improve living standards for all citizens. Choice of Magba for the anniversary underscores the SDF intent to reconnect with grassroots supporters and rebuild its presence across the nation. As the party looks ahead to the 2025 elections, it aims to mobilize its base, address internal challenges, and present a unified front to the Cameroonian electorate.
You're welcome back. Lionel, I will begin with you. Let's look at the founding principles of the Social Democratic Front. Have they evolved over these 35 years?
I think, as I earlier said at the beginning of this program, the Social Democratic Front is 35 today, and we've gone through ups and downs. And we can only be happy today for the achievements that we've had. Unfortunately, we've not been able to make our creation, because we did not create this party to remain as an opposition party. We created this party to rule Cameroon and to give a better living condition to Cameroonians. So now, during the 35 years, we went in for elections, presidential elections, municipal elections, legislative elections, and for all of us who have a fresh memory, you all remember what happened in 1992, and you have some witnesses who are even coming on media and saying how they did to seize that victory from the SDF. We boycotted one election, which I think has cost us a lot in our political life, of which after we tried to recover, and we are still recovering from that boycott up to today. That's only what a human can do, because when you are into politics and as a human, some decisions will not please and will not help you advance. But after that, we've been into parliament, we've been into councils, and we've been at the Senate. You will judge some of the actions of the SDF through their elected officials in all the councils we've ruled in these countries, especially those with all the a lot through laws, through lobbying, and through pressures, because we found it at a certain moment that staying away from or boycotting the house, it makes us not to really be implicated in the decision making. It makes us not to give our point of view when some of these things are being taken into consideration. So we have been moving forward with a certain number of projects, the era of new communication instruments that we have, and at the we could continue with this. After reflection, and this was after the 2018, what made us to leave from this position to this position instead of going higher. We came back, and even though we could just do better by proving that, make sure that we try to redefine some of our ways, and that's why you can see the SDF coming back to the timeline today.
Oh, okay. Franklin, how would you rate the contributions of the Social Democratic Front to the growth?
The year 1990, or can I say who was born between 1985 and 1995, they will tell you that life was so hard. And I, for one, I can remember very well the day SDF was launched. I always say that it was launched by force because the regime didn't want the idea. Introduce something they call the left wing, if I'm not mistaken, SDF being the left wing of the parliament, where SDF talks mostly about progressing, the progress of the speeches made by SDF leaders that I've met, especially those I've been with. I realized that SDF has this particular focus on humanity, trying to make it move ahead. Unlike 11 presidential election, with the coming in of other SDF that now they already have in mind to ameliorate the party. Because the old method of SDF is really what really push SDF down. Because we are here, I don't see how I will explain that. In 1992, I was in class 2 or class 3 primary school. SDF was the first opposition party with the 36% from the presidential election. Results from the presidential election. And in 2018, SDF was coming with 3 that I think is thanks to SDF. Is this very issue of us having 360, how many political parties that are sprouting up? It was due to, it was the idea of SDF that we could have this, that enlightened people to know that, we could resist the regime. Unfortunately, it has come to be in a way that most of them respect the SDF for having stood the test of time. It's not really easy. Despite all the weaknesses, despite everything that is happening, if up till today, is that SDF is still
looking at the milestones of the SDF in 35 years.
It has been a mixed blessing, you know, from 1993. Fought for issues of creation of the LECAM that we have in place. ONEL before its transformation, And even the freedom of speech that we have, SDF fought for this multipartyism and other things. SDF has, you know, fought this hope gradually dwindled and is still dwindling. Like we said, SDF's was participation in the presidential election was in 2018. That was under Honorable O.C. Joshua. And now, I must give him kudos for, you know, stepping into the big shoes that was left behind by Nijon Fundi since 2023 when he passed. It's not been easy, you know, but I feel like for SDF to, you know, gain back the momentum. When I watch 20th May National Day March pass across the nation, I have hope that he's doing some groundwork. He's doing some groundwork, and those who are the base are doing some groundwork as we head towards, as we're heading towards the presidentials. Because if you see, Cancer used to be an SDF, you know, thing, but now it's in the hands of CPDM. But when I saw the mobilization, I believe that SDF is doing something, and this even justifies what. If you even look at Bengui, you discover that people in Dangote are doing something to revive the party there, to, you know, hold to the legacy that was left behind by Mbandam and the rest. But I feel that for the SDF to gain that momentum that it used to have, the current national chairman needs to look with internal wrangling, which originates from SDF's failure, the failure of the U.S. Congress. This is where it started, and then other members of parliament, and then other people were not comfortable with that. And then his participation in the 2018 presidentials also contributed to this. So I feel that moving forward, after stepping into the shoes of late Fundi, he has to bring back those that Article 8.2 sent away. The G27 plus. It's we cannot there, Professor Kufele Kale, work for them. And if you come in for continuity's sake, the party text, not forcefully sent away.
Get to that, maybe let's finish up with the key achievements of the Social Democratic Front 35 years after creation.
Yeah, I think the SDF has showed then they can achieve it, because in a peaceful way, people decide to affirm or confirm their existence, and it led to the death of 6 people 6 militants of the SDF party.
Yes.
So I think this is something that we should be proud of as a nation, not as a militant of a political party, because it contributes to the history, the political history of this country. Multi-partyism system, or gave birth to the multi-partyism, which later on occurred. So I think this is a great achievement. But unfortunately, the SDF, all of us here agree that the party has fallen down compared to the beginning, because to 2018 confront parliamentary legislative elections from 1992 to 2018, you realize, or 2020, you realize that there is a great difference between the SDF in those days and the one that we have today.
Okay. Lionel, though, is kind of citing some, what he terms, some blunders, or maybe some weaknesses that have affected the party to date. You started by saying that in 1992, the boycott of parliamentaries and the legislative elections was one of the blunders. Have they?
When a child is born, 0 by then, if they were 20 or 21, now they should be plus 35. That is 56. Yeah. The same strength you have when you are 20 is not the same strength when you have when you are 56. The same energy and financial resources, all the resources you can put in the party when you are free, you are not married, you don't have children, it's not the same as you can do. The SDF was not created to stay into the opposition as long as it did. So many people got exhausted around the only people that left. If you remember in 2006, Muna left with people, and not 34 people, with hundreds of people. And the SDF still stood up and continued. We have done, we had in mind since 1982. A party cannot, on the bylaws of a party, I don't think you still have to be a member of that party. As you said, chase away, they dismiss themselves. The SDF is so clear, the texts are so clear that when you do something that is anti-party, you dismiss yourself. We only realize that you've done it. And only a resolution came up to realize. And this was even realized when they took SDF to court. Can you imagine the day we were removing the corpse of the SDF, they were in court. A case was in court that same day, and they were in court in order to win the SDF. Okay. Apart from that, when the Right Honorable Joshua C. came up and took to everybody, even those who have been hit by the A2, they know what is the procedure to come back. When you are acknowledged by the NEC, National Executive Committee, and you have another instance, which is the convention, where you can write either to ask for pardon or to appeal that that A2 that they gave you is not okay. We fight for Cameroonians to have a better living. We should be running behind 34 human beings that are conscious, that have been mayors, parliamentarians, and that have been at the forefront of the fight in the SDF. Is it at this moment that we are going to power in less than 2 years that they are running away? This happened the day we, the youth of the party, we convinced the chairman not to stand. 2018, we saw how divided the party was already. During the campaign in 2018, you saw how most of these 34, as young people of the party, told Pa, you know, the era now, some of the things that are happening, please, we want you to step down. Pa said yes, because you are youth, I will announce it officially. And we did that on, they knew that it is open for everybody to challenge, and you all know, because most of them are following that.
Okay. And it appears that the SDF is still against this whole issue of coalition. About this, whether we like it or not, the SDF is not a leading opposition political party as it was the case before. We at the level of the councils,
yes,
and even at the level of regional assemblies and things like this, yeah. The SDF is not a leading political party at this level.
Please,
now,
please.
But when we want to come to a negotiation table for political parties to come on board and see if we can have a single opposition candidate can, you know, put up a strong fight against the CPL regime, put in a posture of somebody who wants to lead. So I think that it should not be an issue of ego between our political party leaders.
I'm very happy. I'm very happy you came up with this.
Yes.
Let me talk to Cameroonians. You said the SDF is not a leading opposition party.
At the moment.
For the moment.
Yes.
After the CPDM is UNDP. After UNDP is CPDM. Let me tell you, UNDP is an ally to the CPDM.
Of course.
And that's not opposition. So the opposition leading party for now is SDF, if we agree like that. And another thing, we are not focused on that because we have not been born to remain opposition. We are born to take power. The only thing I would tell you, my brother, that we cannot talk of coalition with parties that don't have the same visions. You cannot talk of coalition with parties that don't think the same. SDF today is member of a left wing of political parties, civil society organizations. Labor movement was put in place, Calamo. And this Cameroon labor movement is made up of 7 out of 11 confederations of workers in Cameroon. I'm telling you, they are members of the Calamo. Many political parties are members of Calamo, and they are working. When you look at the coalition that was put in place by Jean-Michel Ninchu, did it not define the candidate immediately?
He did.
Do you think that coalition can come and talk to the SDF and we accept to go and toe the line? A member of the coalition and how to elect the person at the helm of the coalition. I will take the second one. I will take the second one, please. Yes, the second one that was put in place, the group of Douala, you heard about it. The group of Douala that was put in place by Elimbi Lobe that was overthrown by Manidem and Sambaka. Yeah. You cannot be people that want to unite and you come and talk to leaders of political parties as if you are talking to individuals. The chairman of the SDF cannot unilaterally take decisions to join a coalition without the NEC, National Executive Committee, giving him that powers. So when you come and talk to him, you wait for him to convene a NEC and discuss with NEC members. And for those who have been attending NEC members, you will know that it's not always easy for the chairman of the SDF to convince NEC members to take a decision. And that's what we call democracy. The third one.
Try to learn, please.
You cannot talk of a coalition with people. Said it clear during one of their press conferences. The SDF and the CPDM are the only political parties that have been able to. You want to talk with the SDF, and you say, oh, the SDF is already dead, but you don't have representatives in all these communal commissions. The SDF is the only 120 that we want. We are talking of pooling agents, not people to elect. And when you talk of a pooling agent, you mean people that you have trained, you are capable to have trust in them. We are now at 80,000 people. Agents. During the NEC that we held in Bafoussam on Saturday, reports were given on that. My brother, do you expect the SDF to toe the line with someone that is not capable to even put pooling agents in the region? No. Please, we should be sincere.
Franklin, we are looking at the SDF. Can the SDF still be that hope that Cameroonians saw some 35 years ago?
To be candid, I will not choose words. I think if SDF can bring that hope back, the probability is extremely very low. Because right now, like these Cameroonians, I understand the way SDF is going. That's how a mature party can operate. We are expecting to learn that from SDF, which is 35 today. But now we know the type of Cameroonians we have. People want action immediately. We have at least 70% of a vibrant population, where everyone wants to see something happening. So for SDF to do all those things, I would like to differ with something a little bit. SDF is already there as matured as it is. Call those who are coming into the coalition with zero. SDF should call them in. If at all SDF really wants that we should have a change in this country.
If they are calling the SDF to come over.
There is something.
Maybe the appellation of what have been put in place, you don't see that coalition.
I'm coming to this thing.
When we are talking of a winning coalition, you don't only talk of political parties. You talk of political parties and the civil society. And that's what has been put in place.
That is where I wanted to go.
As a Labour Party, we cannot be leaving aside workers and parties that are aligned with our own.
I wanted to come back. Yes, that's where I was actually going to. Because one thing I'm noticing, when you get people on the street saying that there's no opposition in Cameroon, is because Well, just within the opposition, nobody wants to listen to it. Good. Then SDF should also come back to other political parties. Has the SDF given them a listening ear? Where we are here, I don't claim to know everything. If I don't know anything, I will ask Mr. Doe over there. Okay. And if I come to you with an empty hand telling you that I want to know how to write an article in a newspaper.
Mr. Doda, you want to teach him to write an article?
Okay.
No, that's not the case.
Yes, don't be I see you itching
there is something. There is something.
SDF, and then they come in to power of OC as national chairman and things like this. There are many people, you know, who from that. Looking at your question, looking at your question, I think that Honorable OC has the qualities of who can lead this country. I say this not because he's a handsome man, he's a very handsome man, no. Because one, he speaks both languages of these countries. Yeah. He's a bilingual Cameroonian. He speaks even the Pidgin language. Yeah. So that's the first point. Secondly, OC has a good vision. If you've been listening to him speak, you see him dissect issues that affect us socially, affect our economy, and affect our, you know, the unity, which is a foundation of the country. He has a good vision on tackling the crisis in the Northwest and the Southwest. He has a good vision of reviving the economy if he takes power. I think these are issues that if SDF, the communication arm of the SDF, works on to see how this vision is taken to the grassroots for Cameroonians to believe in. He has something, he still has something to say. The Fundi era is gone. Yeah. That's why I feel that if the Fundi era, the Bello Boba should leave the way, Paul Biya should leave the way. We should have a new breed of political leaders in this country. The CPDM should be able to propose to us another candidate for this election that will compete with opposition political leaders. And I think OC has a good vision. If he continues with this vision, remember, all politicians make promises. It is only when they get to the top that we see them implement. We hope that if Cameroonians give him that hope, that ability, that
please, in less than 1 minute, we don't have time.
Yeah, I just want to disagree a little bit with what the SDF militants said concerning the ideology of the party. I think within the opposition, there are some political parties which almost have the same ideology than the SDF. Exactly. We have the PCRN party with its communal federalism, and the SDF is talking about federalism. Why can't you guys come together? No. That's not what you said earlier. You
he said some of the coalition members.
You want me to cite all of them? I could do.
Yes, okay.
I saw one of the presidential aspirants going out of the studio that told me that I will come and I have a
let him land, Lionel, please. We don't have time. Yes.
Now, what I will say by conclude is that the SDF needs to rejuvenate itself. Like it needs to rebirth itself.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Lionel. Let me give you the pride of place in less than 15 seconds.
Thank you.
SDF is 35. The way forward, maybe in just 3 words.
Thank you.
The main prospects.
The SDF is 35, and we are open. And the chairman of the SDF said it again during last NEC. The SDF is open to join any force, any progressive force that is willing to make things change in Cameroon. Not only to lead, but also as a member if things are well organized.
Thank you so much. It is here we are drawing the curtains of the program. We are sorry that we could not take your messages. There are quite many. We could not take them because of time constraint. If you missed out on anything, rebroadcast will be on Wednesday at 10:30 p.m. Until we meet again next Saturday. Do not forget to go get your voter's card if you are still dragging your feet, because once the elections will be convened by the head of state, Paul Biya, everything closes at the level of voters.
Décideurs, chefs d'entreprise.